We're breaking down the Avengers Endgame teaser. The skies opened up on this blessed December morn, and Marvel Studios gifted our timelines with two things that we've been waiting months for: a title and trailer for the next Avengers movie. The Avengers Endgame trailer packs a bunch of Infinity War callbacks, plus some key details from the comics to fuel our speculation about how things will unfold in the post-snapping world come April next year. Now, before we go any further, we will be spoiling some plot details for Avengers Endgame, so if you want to go into the movie completely unspoiled, make like Bucky and dust on out of here. Oh, it's still too soon! Getting right into it, right at the top, we see Tony Stark alone aboard the Benatar, the ship that the Guardians of the Galaxy started cruising around in after the Milano was destroyed. We presume Tony here is trying his best to get back to Earth, but is now essentially drifting in space. Tony turns on his battered Iron Man helmet, which appears to be the last piece of his nanobot suit to survive his Thanos beatdown. He records a sad message to Pepper Potts. He's out of food and water, and about to run out of air, and has zero promise of rescue. Now keep in mind, though, that this is the same Tony Stark who built a suit of armor in a cave with a box of scraps. So we're not sure why he couldn't pull off something similar here with all of the tech available to him on that ship, but Tony being this helpless adrift in space means that somebody will have to come to his rescue. So let's look at the top candidates for the Save a Stark mission. First up, Pepper Potts as Rescue. He pointedly says the word rescue here, and since the title of this movie came directly from a line of dialogue uttered by Doctor Strange in Infinity War, more on that later, we're not putting it past the Russos to just put the answer to this question right out there in plain sight. Rescue first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man Volume 2, Issue 10, when Pepper Potts finds a suit of armor designed for her by Tony Stark and puts it on to escape arrest by Norman Osborn. After that, Pepper donned the rescue suit on various missions, using its mostly defensive weaponry to help out in emergency situations. And Tony Stark's imminent suffocation in a spaceship might qualify as an emergency, so it's possible Rescue might come to his aid. Our second candidate is Captain Marvel. Now, some folks are speculating that this could be the moment where Captain Marvel joins the current MCU timeline, flying through space to swoop in and rescue Tony Stark. It would be an awesome way to show the past, present, and future of the MCU all in a single go. And we know that Captain Marvel will appear in Avengers 4 at some point, so her showing up in this context totally makes sense. Lastly, maybe no one will reach him in time, and Tony Stark will die in space after all, making this his literal endgame. Though this is, of course, a possibility, we just can't see Marvel give the character that launched the MCU such a bleak death, although I would be totally for it. Next, we see the Marvel logo getting dusted away because it was half of all life and half of all graphic design that got dusted by Thanos. Or the graphic designers. Oh no, our upstairs! Moving on, we see a shot of Thanos' armor hanging like a scarecrow. Now, this image is straight from the Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet comics, from after Thanos' snap when he retires and sets up his farm. After that, we've got Thanos walking in his fields on a planet that the Russos called Titan II at the recent Collider screening and Q&A of Infinity War. Now, it's worth noting that Thanos has not put the Infinity Gauntlet up as part of the Scarecrow armor because he is still wearing it as he plays real-life Stardew Valley. Either the gauntlet is fused to his arm after drawing so much power for the snap, or he just doesn't want to ever be separated from it and have all that power taken away from him. Then we see some establishing shots of the Avengers headquarters. The building is looking kinda run down, and notice that half of those parking spaces are empty. Now, inside Avengers HQ, Black Widow confirms that yes, Thanos did wipe out 50% of all living creatures, and that glistening tear running down Cap's now beardless face is for all of the baby animals who were mercilessly snapped away too. Next, there's Bruce Banner looking at some holographic displays of some of the people who are missing, like Scott Lang, Shuri, and Peter Parker. It looks like these are folks who haven't been confirmed dusted or alive either way. And here we see the Avengers hangar, which might normally be buzzing with agents and workers, but is now looking completely empty of people, once again highlighting the massive loss of life. Then a quick shot of Thor rocking some civvies, plus the new eye that Rocket Raccoon gave him. And with Captain America, Black Widow, Bruce Banner, and Thor, we've got most of the original Avengers assembled here. Then we get a quick shot of Nebula, possibly on board the Benatar with Tony Stark or on a ship of her own. We get the feeling that she is still mourning Thanos' Soul Stone sacrifice of her sister Gamora. And here we have the first official look at Clint Barton. Hawkeye is back, baby! Black Widow finds him in what looks like it could be Japan. He looks pretty unhinged here, having just taken out some presumably bad guys with his futuristic katana. Now, it's not so far-fetched to say that Hawkeye has snapped and become Ronin, considering that in the comics during the Ultimates 2 storyline in 2005, Hawkeye's family is murdered and he has a total mental breakdown, covering his face and muffling his voice later on. Thanks to the line here by Cap about losing friends and a family, it is safe to assume that Hawkeye took on the Ronin persona after losing some or all of his family to Thanos' snap. Now we go back to Black Widow and Cap, who's getting all nostalgic about his old flame Peggy Carter, who passed away in Civil War. Now this might be a stretch, but since we're seeing this nod to Peggy in the trailer, could we get a flashback or even a full-on time travel sequence where Cap stops by the 1940s to see Peggy? Side note, Cap is wearing his dark blue stealth suit from the Winter Soldier, which is arguably the best Cap suit. Black Widow and Cap are about to put some type of plan in action, with Black Widow reassuring Steve that this is gonna work. So they're clearly not just rocking those stealth suits because they're more comfortable, they're right about to put this last-ditch effort into action. And here we have the title reveal, Avengers Endgame, coming together from the broken remains of the Avengers logo. Again, this was a line spoken by Doc Strange in Infinity War.
We're in the Endgame now.
It was right in front of us the whole time, and it proves that the Russo brothers straight up lied to our faces when they said back in May that the title of Avengers 4 was not spoken in Infinity War. How can we believe anything else Joe and Anthony say after this deception? Liar, liar, pants on fire. After the logo, we get a stinger with Ant-Man. We already knew from the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp that Scott Lang was not dead, but how'd he get himself out of the quantum realm? Now, the last bit of concrete info we got from the trailer is that the film's release got moved up to April, just like Infinity War did. So what other presumptions can we make based on the trailer? Well, clearly, Scott Lang somehow figured out how to get out of the quantum realm and drove over to the Avengers HQ. We're guessing that there's no huge time jump after the end of Infinity War, and Endgame will probably pick up somewhat shortly after the snapping, not years later. So the Avengers basically get a bonus, not dead Scott Lang. In the comics, Cap is considered one of the best strategists in the world. He can look at all of the pieces on the game board and find a way to win, even with the odds stacked against him. So Scott Lang entering the game with the quantum tunneling tech gives Cap a huge bonus, which will make all of the difference here. Now, we also have BTS set photos from months ago showing Scott Lang throughout different time periods, and we've covered the time travel theories a million times. Whether or not it's successful, we'd be truly shocked if there wasn't at least some attempt to ride those time vortexes into the past to try and stop Thanos' snap. And there were a handful of folks we didn't see in this trailer who we know or are pretty sure survived the snap, namely Rocket Raccoon, Shuri, Okoye, and War Machine. Maybe we'll see what those four are up to in the next trailer. But what do you folks think? Were you surprised by the title? When do you think the next trailer will drop? And do you prefer Cap clean-shaven or with a beard? With a beard! Let's discuss. With a beard! Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we go live with the show or drop a new video. And if you want even more Marvel insight, check out all of our Nerdist News episode from this week. We dove deep into the Captain Marvel trailer and took a look at Spider-Man's new suits from Far From Home. Catch it all right now.